Hey, it's Chris and Lisa from Been There, Got Out. And we're putting the finishing touches on a course we're going to offer for people who are suffering in or struggling to get out of toxic relationships. And part of that was we sent out a survey in the last few days to ask what issues are front and center for you right now. So if you've responded to that, thank you very much. Please know that we're reading every single response. If you haven't gotten an invitation to the survey yet, or if you didn't respond, you can still do it. We still want to hear from you at BeenThereGotOut.com/survey.
So the responses that we've gotten so far were beyond what we expected. They were really overwhelming, and we thought that even though we're rolling out this course hopefully in the next few weeks, that there was such an urgent need to really address where you are right now. With the whole coronavirus thing, everything is already so difficult, and we all are, well, most of us are quarantined and feeling isolated, but it makes it a lot worse for you because you're not only stuck, but you're stuck with a difficult situation or a difficult relationship.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we're going to do as part of our paid course is offer what we call detox talks, which will be online group coaching sessions. We're going to use Zoom to deliver it. So everybody's been using Zoom right now in this crisis. But we felt like there's such a need right now to offer support to our audience, so that we're going to again, just go to the survey, make sure you put in your name and email on the last page. There's only three questions there. And we'll make sure that we invite every single person for free, no charge. The course isn't done yet. We're not going to wait for it to be perfect, and we'll probably make a bunch of technical mistakes and it'll be glitchy, but we got to get this support out to our people. So
yeah.
But also, I guess one of the things we wanted to do is in the survey responses we got already, let's talk about some of the things that were common themes there so we can get some answers to you right now. And that's what the rest of this video is about.
Yeah. So one of the common themes that we found, but one person in particular said that she's separated right now and she has children with this person, and she's trying to heal both herself and her children, but she's wondering if her husband can and will change, and when and if it'll be safe to go back.
Yeah, that's a question we get a lot, not just in the survey, but elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And the sad fact of the matter is that if the core reason that the person is toxic is narcissistic personality disorder or some other toxic personality disorder, they really, over the long term, they're not going to change. Short term, once in a while you'll see some improvement in the behaviors, but that's a bit of an act. And
right.
they do it for a reason.
Right, and that's actually, I think this belief, because I felt the same way for such a long time, is we keep hoping and wanting the person to change and thinking that they're capable of it, and they give us little nuggets to show that they'll change, but they really haven't.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think about my situation, and this is very common. My relationship with my ex, who I was with for 14 years, it started with this really passionate, amazing, I found my soulmate, and there was such attraction, and we shared a sense of humor, and for the rest of the relationship, it was all, as things turned sour, it was all about I want to recapture those good old days. And now, with some hindsight, being out of the relationship for 6 years, I see that the good old days were still filled with conflict and chaos and problems, but it just got worse. So I guess by comparison, that's even better.
Yeah, yeah. So another issue that came up several times was people saying that they felt like they were trying to get away, but then they kept coming back. Like, for example, one woman said that she and her husband are living apart. Her husband won't make a decision, and she can't either. Every time one of us pulls away, the other pulls back. I can't seem to let go, and I'm stuck in limbo for years. This happens to almost everyone. This is not just you. I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but I'm a state certified domestic violence advocate, and one of the first things that we learned was that it takes people an average of 7 to 9 times to actually leave a relationship. So it's very, very hard. There's a number of reasons for that, but the common term is called hoovering, which is in British English vacuuming, and it means doing any kind of behavior that will suck you back into the relationship. You have to keep in mind that if you're in a toxic relationship, you're dealing with an abusive personality that is really thriving on power and control. And he or she will do whatever is necessary to keep that control over you. So even though their behavior can act really up and down, like they'll act like you're the one with the problem. I actually want to say that another person wrote in and said that her husband was doing all kinds of horrible things, like accusing her of trying to poison him, questioning her own mental health, but then he'll suddenly be become really nice. That's a perfect example of hoovering. It's also called push-pull behavior, where as soon as so they'll do something to make you feel like you're the terrible one, and you start thinking, okay, the relationship's over, and then they'll do the opposite and act really nice to you and do whatever they can to just pull you right back into the relationship. This is also called intermittent reinforcement. And people beat themselves up a lot because they feel like, why do I keep going back? Like, why am I still thinking about this person?
That was a common theme too.
Yeah.
Right? People who are just say, I'm stuck and I keep cycling.
Yeah, and not understanding why, but you should understand that this type of intermittent reinforcement, the hoovering, the push-pulling behavior, it changes the chemistry of your brain, and it's actually becomes a sort of an addiction. So in our brains, we have these hormones that are called pleasure hormones, right? And there's, what are the, oxytocin,
serotonin,
and dopamine. Right, so pleasure hormones. And so when you get used to this push-pull, like where someone treats you badly, but then they're really nice to you, your brain starts hoping for the hit of when they're nice to you. And it's almost like you'll excuse so much of the bad behavior because you're just waiting for the little hits of the good stuff. So again, you cannot blame yourself for constantly going back, because again, this is a really common cycle.
And it happens to anyone, right? I mean, you and I are both smart, educated people, and one of the respondents was saying, what was the quote? That
Yes. Okay.
She's like,
Yes. Okay. So there was someone who sent something that I could so relate to. She said, I ought to be able to do this for myself, like basically leave the relationship. I'm well educated and I hold down a good job. Oh, I can't even tell you the number of people, including myself, that were shocked at how we either had no idea that we were in an abusive relationship, or thought that because we are bright and creative and educated, or we have these wonderful jobs, that we should also be able to know everything and we should be able to pull ourselves out of these toxic relationships. But it's just not true. I'm sure you and most of everyone you know knows someone, if not yourself, who has been in a toxic situation and didn't realize it at the time. I mean, the statistics, it's 1 in 3 women, 1 in 7 men that will be in an abusive relationship in their lifetimes. So please stop beating yourself up.
yeah, you are, there's a reason this is happening. These people are master manipulators. They practice their whole lives to get you into that, into their trap. So definitely, as Lisa said, don't beat yourself up. There's a reason for it. It's actually, unfortunately, it's very common. And one of the saddest things about it is the people that they attract tend to be highly empathic people.
Like us?
People who are warm and giving, and maybe you felt. I know I felt in my relationship like, my ex-wife was someone who was this beautiful flower who just had some mental issues, that if I could just be the white knight and I could help her get over these things, and just give and give. And so many people are like that. So if you're the victim of this kind of abuse, know that it's probably a sign that you're a really good, caring, giving person.
Yes. So right now, we're all feeling trapped and paralyzed. But what can they do right now, even in this dire situation?
Yeah. So the very first thing to do, especially if you're early in the process and you're just realizing what's going on in your life, is know you're not alone. It's not your fault. It is your problem, though. But there's an explanation. We're ready to support you. There are people out there who are going through the same thing. We can all support each other. So Lisa and I are working really hard to put together our course, but the need is too urgent. So as I said earlier, we're going to roll out our detox talks. in the next week or two, just make sure we have your first name and email address. You can give that to us in the survey. So it's beentheregotout.com/survey. And on the last page, it's only, I think, 3 pages. On the last page, just make sure you put in your first name and email. And we'll invite everybody.
It's free. It's free
for now. It'll be part of the paid course eventually.
Yeah.
But let's get you the help you need. That's really the priority right now.
Yeah. And then lastly, I just wanted to say that, especially from these survey responses, I know a lot of you feel, and I felt the exact same way in the past, that it's so hard trying to talk to people about this because they really don't understand. And a lot of you said nobody understands. We both completely understand. We totally get it. We are living proof. We have been through this. We are still going through it on certain levels, and we just want to hopefully provide an example of what it looks like on the other side. There is an other side. We have a number of people we know who have made it through this.
Yep.
We have people that we've helped come to the other side where it's just peaceful and life is so different. And I know you can't believe that it ever could be this way for you, but I promise you, Chris promises you, it is possible and life can get so much better. So again, we are here for you. We will see you soon, and probably next week we'll do something more interactive. And thanks so much for watching us today.